Hi everyone, welcome back to our series on YouTube called Introduction to Amazon Ads. In today's episode, we're going to be covering as many Amazon acronyms and terms from the glossary for sellers and vendors as possible. So whether you're a new seller, an old seller, new to Amazon, just starting out on Amazon, I'm sure there are a number of abbreviations, acronyms, definitions that you've probably come across, many of which you may know and understand, and many of which you may not. So what we're going to do today is go through as many relevant ones and go through those in alphabetical order and do our best to give a brief overview as to all of the different acronyms that we think are relevant and come up on a regular basis. So the first few that we've got today are 1P or first party seller. So this is a seller using Vendor Central, selling their own products from their own brand. 3P or third party seller. That's a business that is selling a product that is A, not their own, and B, not from their own brand. They'll be using Seller Central instead of Vendor Central, and they'll be selling these products directly to consumers on Amazon, utilizing their own business name, not necessarily their own brand name, and then taking on that role of the retailer. A slight move on from that, we've got 3PL that kind of links into third-party seller. So these are third-party logistics. This means there is a third party, whether that's an agency, doing all of those logistical steps for you, like shipping, etc. 7-day deals. So this is a promotion available to sellers on Amazon. A lot of promotions can be time-bound. A lot of promotions can be evergreen. A 7-day deal, I think the clue's in the title there. This is one of those that is time-bound. So this will run for a 7-day period. You will get a limited time offer red badge on your listing and in the search results, and you'll also appear prominently on Amazon's best deals page. Clear idea, we really like the 7-day deals because not only does it give you that extra visibility, it also has a significant boost to your organic ads. Now with a 7-day deal, you can't run this every week for the same product. I think you can only run them like once every month. However, we advise running these as often as possible for your advertising. A+ content. This used to be known as enhanced brand content, previously only available to vendors, but now A+ content is available to everyone. And beyond A+ content, we've also got A+ premium content, which will unlock additional features. Now, A+ content will appear on your product detail page, your product display page. So as you scroll down the page past the headline, the images, the bullet points, at the bottom, you'll usually have a product description, and that's usually like a block of text to really further describe what your product is beyond the bullet points and the headline. Now within that is where your A+ content will fit. We recommend putting A+ content on every single product, on every single page. There are a few reasons why. It's a bit more infographical. You can have images. If you've got premium, you can have videos. You can have clickable images, so shoppable images with the black dots that will allow you to click those and interact. Also, it takes up so much more real estate on the page. The standard product description will only take up as long as that paragraph is, but the A+ content, you've got so many modules, nodes that you can fill that will help push your competition even further down the page. So you're stopping that scroll really. Another great thing is it allows you to tell your story of your product, of your brand, and really highlight any features that you may not have had room to do so or limited room to do so above the fold in the main product images and bullet points and titles. So this is a really great way to share more about the product and even more about your brand. Maybe you're a small business, maybe you're American owned, maybe you manufacture locally, maybe you support an important cause environmentally or charity. So we really encourage you to take as much advantage of that as possible. ACoS. So this is the advertising cost of sale. This is going to be one of the key KPIs that many advertisers and sellers are interested in. So this is how you can calculate how efficient your ad spend is. So the formula for this is taking your total ad spend, dividing it by your ad sales, and then timesing it by 100. If we switch over to the Amazon dashboard, it's actually one of the columns that you'll see. And if you go through all of these different columns, you can customize them up here. I've customized it to have all of the KPIs that we're going to be going through today. But if you highlight any of the I's in these circles, Amazon will even give you their definition of what those acronyms, abbreviations, definitions are. So as mentioned, the ACoS is the percent of attributed sales spent on advertising within 14 days of clicking your ad. So that 14 days is to do with attribution. And as mentioned here, this is calculated by dividing total spend by attributed sales. So ACPC, average cost per click. We'll get onto cost per click later, but this is another one where we can go back to the dashboard. And we do have a column for CPC. So CPC, that's the average amount that you're going to be paying for each click on an ad. We usually refer to it as CPC, but sometimes you'll see it referred to as ACPC because this column is actually an average, because this is the CPC for the campaign. Now, if we were to go down to a keyword level, it would still be an average because that keyword is going to be clicked multiple times and it goes through an auction every single time. So it's not going to be the same cost every single time. Your bid may remain the same, but that doesn't mean that your average is going to your average cost per click is going to remain the same. Affiliates. So this is a program run by Amazon where you can have referrals for your product. So those referrals will earn those associates, those affiliates, money for driving traffic and sales through your product listing, through their own marketing. So typically these are going to be influencers, either running through Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, other social media platforms. You can list as many or as little products as you want through the affiliate program. They get a little bit of kickback for driving that traffic to you. And it's a great way to take advantage of these influencers' social circles and their own reach to help funnel that traffic through to your products. AMZ, one of Amazon's own abbreviations for Amazon, and it's their own stock abbreviation. API is quite an important one. So this is the application program interface. Any external tools are going to be using the API. So if you're running your ads through an automation or an optimization tool, they would have pulled all of that data. They would have built that dashboard. They would have built that platform using the API. Any of these popular tools that we use, like Helium 10, are going to pull that data via the Amazon API. If you're using Amazon's Marketing Cloud, all of that data also is going to come through the API. So it's a really important thing to understand. You're going to need some developer knowledge. You're going to need some SQL knowledge potentially in order to bring all of that data through and build that into your own dashboards. So Next one on our list is ASIN. Now this is another important one. This is going to be a very common thing you see. Every one of your products needs an ASIN. So this is Amazon's standard info number. A bit like a barcode, a bit like an EAN number, a bit like a UPC code. Each product is going to have a 10-character alphanumeric identifier. And that typically starts with B0, slightly different for books and Kindle books. These ASINs can be categorized into two ways. So every product will have an ASIN, but if you've got a group of products, maybe it's a line of clothing and it comes with the same design, but in different colors or in different sizes. So you will have a parent ASIN to categorize the whole group, but each product will have its own, what is known as a child ASIN. So all of those individual variations are the child ASINs that fall underneath that larger parent. AWS, so that's Amazon's Web Services. If you're doing any cloud hosting or web developing, that will be through Amazon's Web Services. This is going to be determined by how you run your business and who your target audience is. So most of our sellers will be doing this one, B to C. So this is business to consumer. Most of our e-commerce is going to be on Amazon, directly targeting those customers, those shoppers, the consumers who are typing in their search words, search terms, keywords, with the full intention to purchase a product. B2B is fairly similar, except it's between two businesses. So we'd be wholesaling a bulk of cleaning products to another business who needs it for their own cleaning business, for example. BB, that's the buy box, an abbreviation for the buy box. The Amazon buy box is how that consumer is actually going to interact ultimately with your product. So on the right-hand side of a product display page, next to your product listing and the bullet points, you'll have a couple of yellow buttons. One might say add to cart, one might say buy now. That is the buy box. That shows that the product that you are on currently is winning that buy box. Now, if you're a wholesaler, you might be selling Nike shoes, for example. You're not the owner of that brand, you're not the owner of that product. You're probably not the only one selling that product. There'll be Nike, there'll be yourself, and there'll be other sports outlets selling that product. Only one of those sellers can win the buy box at any given time. So under the buy box, that's where you'll find that section of used and new and being able to purchase that product from a multitude of other sellers. Buy box is usually dictated by a number of different things. Importantly, which one's going to give the consumer the best value for money, like the most competitive on price, the cheapest delivery, the quickest delivery, the smallest return and defect rate, the best number of average reviews and average ratings. So the better you are as a seller, the better you've optimized, the more likely you are to win the buy box. Best deal. This is similar to 7-day deals, but it's exclusive to vendors on Amazon rather than sellers. BOGO or BOGO or BOGOF, buy one, get one free. Another type of promotion available to sellers. Now we're getting into branding. So brand analytics. This is a whole range of features that are available to sellers who have enrolled and registered their brand, which is what we can see below, the brand registry. So with a brand registry, that's how you're going to be able to display your brand name, have a brand store, which we can see below. You'll need to have all your trademarks ready. Brand registry is fairly straightforward, and it's a lot quicker to get through than it was a few years ago, but it allows you to kind of verify yourself as a brand, as a seller, give yourself a bit more credence within the marketplace and your category. Brand analytics is unlocked via that, and that will give you access to even more data points than you would find on the ads dashboard. So what you're going to be able to find there is how well you're placed in the category compared to your competitors. You're not going to be able to see the competitors individually or by name, but you'll be able to see how well you're comparing. So we might be able to see our impression share. Are we in the top 10% of brands for our impression share, for example? Our conversion rate, our click-through rate, our average orders. We'll be able to see that in comparison to everyone else in that category. Brand stores we briefly touched on, but this almost acts like a personalized website within Amazon's own ecosystem. So think of your own e-commerce store on your own website. Think of a brick and mortar store that is just unique to one brand. This is where we're welcoming those consumers through those front doors, and all they're going to be able to see are your products. Now you can set that up with your own imagery, videos, your own color schemes, your branding, your logos. You'll be able to categorize your pages with like a homepage, a page for deals, sub-pages as well. If you've got a section for skincare, you'll be able to break those into smaller sub-pages for each type of skincare that you offer, for example. Now this, much like the brand analytics, is only available once you've gone through brand registry and registered your brand. Brand stores, they can be discovered in a few ways. So on a product display page, underneath the title and your brand, you'll see a little blue hyperlink, which will say, visit the Nike shoe store. And through advertising, consumers can find the brand stores through sponsored brand campaigns. We'll get onto those a bit more later, but they are campaigns and ad types that will generate awareness and consideration for a brand rather than specifically a singular product. Browse note, another important one. These are numerical codes that identify your product categories. Now, it's important that you make sure that every single one of your products is attached to a browse node so that you can be discoverable in a category. If you're not in a category, you're not going to be ranking properly. So in order to have ranking for your product, you need to be discoverable within one of those product categories. Each node is going to be similar to what we talked about with the parent and child ASINs. Each node is going to have a top level variant and then also all of the subcategories underneath them. So we might have health and beauty, then we might have skincare, then facial skincare, then moisturizers, night moisturizers, eye creams, acne treatments, etc. So there are thousands of these. They're unique, but also it's important to make sure that you are checking your browse nodes and your categories on a regular basis, because some subcategories are known to change. Some of them just cease to exist as Amazon sees that another subcategory is more popular and is getting more sales through there. Sometimes subcategories shift and are replaced by the exact same subcategory, and the original one you're in just cease to exist. So it's important to keep checking those. It should also be noted that these browse node numbers are different with every marketplace that you're operating in. For example, if you've got a browse node for moisturizers in the UK, it's not going to be the same for the US. I touched briefly on this one earlier, but the bestseller rank. So this is the order that you rank organically on a category for each individual product. So this rank is updated hourly, often on or very close to the hour, and it takes into consideration a few things. So your recent sales history, like how many sales have you had in the last hour, but also your past sales history, so for like the last 30 days, etc., etc. If you've had no sales at all and the product is brand new, your rank will be none. But also, as mentioned previously, if you're not in a browse node, your rank will be none because you've got no category to be ranking in. So that's why it's doubly important to make sure you have your browse nodes for your categories set up correctly. Bundles, there's two types of bundles. So the main bundle would be you've set up a unique ASIN that bundles multiple products within your range together. So let's say you sell hair care. You might have an ASIN for your shampoo, one for your conditioner, one for a hairnet, and so on. You can also create a bundle grouping those products together in one box with one unique ASIN. So maybe you offer that with a discount, but it's also very convenient for the consumer to be able to buy everything in one go. Another variation of the bundle will be a virtual bundle. So all of these products can exist in Amazon's warehouse, but you might not have the space or want to set up an ASIN or rely on having to have so much stock for a bundle. With a virtual bundle, you can tell Amazon what you want to be bundled up together, but they would still exist as unique individual ASINs. And you'll then have a virtual ASIN for that virtual bundle. So if someone was to purchase the virtual bundle, the Amazon employee is still going through the warehouse and they'll be picking the individual products off the shelf that are linked to that virtual ASIN. Whereas if it was a bundle, it would have to be boxed up and shipped to Amazon as that box. And that can take up a lot of space, but also, if no one's interested in that bundle, you've got a lot of stock sitting there. With a virtual bundle, you minimize any risk of people not wanting to buy the bundle. If they don't buy that virtual bundle, you've not lost any stock because everything is available to be purchased as an individual ASIN. Buy box, we covered this when we talked about BB, but that's the buy box on the right-hand side of a product display page where someone can add to cart. CA, this one's a little bit of a joke, but we use CA as an abbreviation for the Canadian marketplace, but also at ClearAds, it's one of the prefixes for our own campaigns. We've had to explain to a few people before that CA at the beginning of a campaign means it's a ClearAds built campaign and not a Canadian campaign. Very confusing when we've been launching that in a non-Canadian marketplace. Category page. So this is a landing page for specific groups of products within the Amazon website. You might have seen when you run a search that, as well as typing in your search term to the very left, you will have a drop-down menu. At the moment, it will say all for all departments, but if you wanted to search for a specific product and you knew what department it was going to be in, what category it was going to be in, you can change that filter. And you can also click on those category pages and just see every result and their rankings within that category, usually limited to the top 100. Child ASIN, that is the buyable variant of a parent ASIN that we went over earlier on. climate pledge friendly. So this is usually associated with a badge. There'll be lots of badges that you'll see on product listings and in the search results, like bestseller, Amazon's best choice, Amazon's choice, etc. The climate pledge friendly appears at the bottom of the listing in the search results, and it's bright green, usually accompanied by a little logo of a leaf. This is a program that was launched a few years ago in 2020, and it makes those shoppers feel a bit more confident in the product, that it could be eco-friendly, sustainable, maybe it's organic, maybe it's got a carbon neutral footprint. So if you do have a product that you're confident is climate friendly, safe for the environment, then I would recommend you apply to get a climate pledge friendly badge. COGS, this is important for analysing your margins. So COGS stands for the cost of goods sold. So the value of goods sold during a certain period of time. So your COGS are going to include your manufacturing fees, your shipping fees, etc. So if you've got a product that sells for $10 and your cost of goods, your manufacturing and your shipping costs were $2, then you know that before other things are factored in, at the moment your margin is going to be that remaining $8, so that 80%. But then of course you've got Amazon's fees, etc., Prime fees, etc., and your own expenses within your own business to figure in. But it's one of the important things to help you get along the way to calculating your margins on your products. Coupons and vouchers. So another promotion deal, though these are not time gated. These will appear on your listing as a green badge, whereas the limited time deals will be like a dark red badge. Coupons and vouchers, you can dictate whatever percentage or amount of the listing price you want off for a limited time. But you can also have these running evergreen if you wanted. It's not unusual to see sellers with a 5 or 10% discount on their products, in perpetuity. CPC, cost per click. We did cover this when we were doing the ACPC, but just as a reminder, going back to the tab, your cost per click, that's how much you have paid for someone to click through on one of your products. So Amazon advertising isn't free, but you don't have to pay for your adverts to appear. You're not paying for impressions. You are paying for the cost per click. So your ads can appear as many times as you want. You'll only incur that cost when someone actually clicks, hence the cost per click. So that's why it's incredibly important that when someone does click through to one of your products, that your listing is as optimized as it possibly can be to encourage that sale. CTA, call to action. This is going to be relevant when you're running custom creatives or sponsor brand content. So within your headlines of your sponsor brands, within your custom images and your videos and your sponsor brand or sponsor brand videos, same applies to sponsor display. You're going to want to have a call to action, some words of encouragement that will entice that shopper to click on that advert, click on your product to consider making that purchase. CTR, that's the click rate. So click-through rate is also available here. It's the ratio of people who have seen your advert and those who clicked. So we'll see here that we've got over 1 million impressions for the past 30 days for this campaign. We've had nearly 8,000 people click, so we have a click-through rate of 0.68, so almost a click-through rate of 0.7. That determines how attractive your advert, your product is on those search results, as to how many people and what percentage of those click through. It's a very handy way of seeing what your click-through rate is. DOTD, so that's the deal of the day. This will be available on Amazon's Gold Box or their deals page. It's a single item or a small set of closely related items that have been discounted for just that one day. So I guess similar to a 7-day deal, but this will just run for that one day. Dropship or drop shipping, it's an alternative fulfillment method for retailers. So there are some occasions when you'll be browsing for a product, you'll purchase it from a merchant, but they don't physically have that product in store or ready to ship. So what would happen is if you make that purchase, that retailer you've purchased from then orders it from a third party, and then we'll have it shipped directly to you. So that's going to save that dropshipper, that seller, that advertiser, save them on costs, storage, fulfillment, because they only have to then purchase it and send it to you. DP, so this is a detail page or the product detail page. This is the listing page for your ASIN on Amazon. It's going to include everything from your title, your images, your bullet points, your description, which may or may not include A+ and A+ Premium, all of your reviews, your images, your price, your badges, your deals. That's where everything exists, and that's the thing you need to optimize the most. DPV, so detail page views, similar to clicks, but this is a metric showing the number of impressions of a single detail page. So impressions will be how many times your ads have served. Detail page views will be how many times people actually clicked on that to actually view that page. So it's very similar to clicks. And then beyond that, we've got DPVR, so that's the detail page view rate. Similar to click-through rate for clicks, DPVR is to DPV in that same way. DSP, now this is a completely separate advertising platform. It's called the demand side platform. Specifically, this one will be Amazon's demand side platform. This is programmatic advertising. It's like sponsored displays, far bigger and older and more powerful and stronger, brother. It's a great way to make use of audience advertising. So on Seller Central, we're typically targeting keywords, targeting other ASINs, targeting our own ASINs. With DSP, we're really getting to audiences. So targeting people who have viewed our products in the past, let's say 7 days, but haven't yet committed to a purchase. We can re-engage them, we can retarget them, we can remarket to them. It's a lot easier to target all levels of the funnel on DSP. So stay tuned to this channel for a series on demand side platform in the future. DTC, direct to consumer. EAN, we touched on this when we were talking about ASINs, but EAN is the barcode. It's the European article number. It's that 13-digit number for identifying those products. So you will need one of these before registering an ASIN. The Amazon's early reviewer program, it says this is something run and hosted by Amazon. It incentivizes consumers who've purchased a product to actually leave an honest review. So I would say enroll in the early reviewer program, get your products on there. That way you can get those reviews on your new launch products and your existing lifetime products that are in maintenance, your evergreen products. But it's a great way to get those honest reviews. EBC, that's the previous name for A+ content. This is enhanced brand content. So we touched on that, but it is on your detail page showing its content, branding, graphics, images, and just a better way to tell your story. As of 2020, enhanced brand content became obsolete and was replaced and renamed to A+ content. Two very important ones here. FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. So this is when you have sent your stock to Amazon. They're responsible for storing it in their own fulfillment centers and warehouses. And it also means that they're going to pick that product, pack that product, ship that product, and any additional customer service that is needed for those products will be handled by Amazon. Whereas with FBM, also known as fulfilled by merchant or merchant fulfilled, this is where you as the brand owner will be shipping those products yourself. You'll be responsible for picking that from your own warehouse, packing that, shipping that, and then dealing with the customer service yourself. FC, it's just covered above. That's a fulfillment center. That's one of Amazon's warehouses that you'll be shipping to, and that you'll find those all over Europe and all over the United States. Hazmat, hazardous materials. So this is when you've got a product that might be made up of flammable materials, dangerous, corrosive, pressurized materials, or specialist ingredients. So they require special precautions and regulations while transporting and storing. You're also going to need to have those products tested by an Amazon approved test. That way that they can see that your products are safe, that they can store them, and they are fit for the consumer after purchasing that sale. Headline search ads. We'll get through to sponsor brands later on, but this is the now defunct name for sponsor brands. They were renamed a number of years ago. These are the ads that appear at the very top of the search results page, often accompanied with a video or a lifestyle image and showcase 3 products instead of the one that a typical search result or advert will show. Hijacking. This is an unfortunate one, but this is when another seller will jump on your brand's listing to sell a counterfeit version of that product, often at a lower and far more competitive price. This loops back to what we were talking about, the buy box, and therefore can cause you to lose the buy box on your own listing, meaning that the counterfeit or far cheaper, or dare I say stolen goods are being sold at a far more competitive rate, leading to multiple issues for you. If this is happening, we recommend opening a case log, reporting that brand who is selling the counterfeit or stolen or cheaper products off of your listing. Impressions. This is another one where we can go back to our dashboard. We have covered it briefly, but impressions, quite simple. This is the number of times your ads were displayed on search results pages. It could appear multiple times because you're going to have different places that these ads can appear. We recently launched a video on the anatomy of a search results page. You'll be able to see where all of those ads appear if you go and watch that video, but the impressions is the number of times those ads were displayed. KPI, this is going to be important for your reporting and for tracking how well your sales and your business is going on Amazon. KPI is your key performance indicators, also known as your targets or the metrics that you want to track. So this is a measurable value that will determine how well your brand is actually performing against that specific set of objectives. So your KPI might be ACoS that we covered earlier. It might be impressions. Maybe your KPI at the moment is just maximizing reach. So yeah, how many impressions did you serve for that advert? Like how many people got their eyes on your product? That might be a key performance indicator for you. Not everyone is focused on the profitability. It depends on the product life cycle. LD and lightning deal. So a lightning deal, these are time gated, but they're usually for quite a short period of time. These are very common to see running during things like Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the full Prime deal event. But this is a short period deal, usually lasting somewhere between 6 and 12 hours, limited to 1 per customer. So they can't abuse your deal, because one of the unique things about the lightning deal is it doesn't put your entire stock on discount. So let's say you've got 1,000 units of your product, you can say the first 100 sales are taken part of that lightning deal. So it's almost generating some FOMO, some fear of missing out. And you can actually see that information on the lightning deal page that this deal expires in 3.5 hours and there's only 5 out of the original 100 units left available. So it can do a lot of work to encourage those sales to go through. Listing optimization. This is something that the brand owners should be reviewing very regularly. So this is making sure that you have a fully optimized Amazon product display page, your detail page, your listing page. So you need to make sure your product information is always up to date, whether that is standard product information or your A+ premium content, that you're regularly updating your titles, your bullet points, your features, your images, your description. You shouldn't just set this and forget it. If there are new keywords that you're ranking for, make sure that they're in your listing. If there are keywords that you know you're ranking well for, they need to be somewhere in your listing, whether that's the title or the bullet points. Long-term storage fee. I call this Amazon's babysitting fees or rent. So if you've had any products that have been stored in any of Amazon's fulfillment centers in the warehouses for longer than a period of 365 days, you're going to incur those babysitting fees. Amazon are actually probably losing money by having your products on their shelves not shifting. That space could be better used by a product that they know is going to sell consistently and make them more money. Yes, they're taking a cut for the listing fee, but if it's not moving anywhere, it's not making you money, and it's not making them money outside of that initial listing fee. So what we'll have here is just a way that they can monetize that storage fee to consistently make them money while it's sitting there doing nothing. So Marketplace, this is what location, what domain you're selling on. So if you're a seller in the US, you're going to be in the United States marketplace. We've also got UK, all of UAE, Oceania, Asia, Europe. Basically, any country you're selling in is going to be its own marketplace. MCF, this is multi-channel fulfillment. This is for sellers who sell on Amazon and other marketplaces. So some inventory is fulfilled by Amazon and the other inventory by other sales channels or even the merchant themselves. Merchant fulfilled. So this is something we mentioned earlier when we were talking about FBM. This is another acronym for that, MF instead of FBM. So this is where you as the seller are responsible for shipping those products directly to the customer as opposed to Amazon doing that. MOM, for the benefit of reporting, this is month over month. So how has your data improved over the course of, month on month? Month to date, MTD, another one for the benefit of reporting. You can also see this on the dashboard. If we go to the dashboard, we're able to customize our date ranges. So through here, you'll be able to look at lifetime, year to date, which will be YTD. This month is month to date. You can also do WTD, so week to date. MSRP, so that's the manufacturer's suggested retail price, sometimes referred to as sticker price. So this allows the manufacturer to kind of try and best regulate the prices of their product between different stores, different retailers, different platforms. You don't have to use the MSRP, but it's a way where, everyone's kind of on the same page. NTB. So this is, in terms of Amazon, a fairly recent metric. I know we're in 2023 now, but this was launched in 2019. This is a metric at the moment specific to sponsor brands where we can see how many of those purchases and orders were actually new to your brand. And you can also calculate that as a percentage. So if we go back to our dashboard, we have some columns here. So we can see this sponsor brand had 338 orders, but we can also see that 308 of those orders were new to brand. There's also a very handy column to the right, percentage of new to brand orders. So you don't have to work out a percentage yourself. We can very quickly see that these new to brand orders were 91% of our total orders for that sponsor brand campaign. It's a really good way to see the size of the new audience that you're reaching, and also what percentage of those. So the other 9% are going to be brand loyal. They're already familiar with your brand. They're not new to your brand. They've purchased before. That's out of stock. Something that we recommend you avoid. Make sure you're on top of your stock. If you can see, that there's a consistent level of stock going out and being sold every day, try and prepare for that when you next put in an order with your manufacturer. P&L, so that's your profit and loss. Parent ASIN, we covered this when talking about ASINs in general, but this is the main ASIN that serves a group of variations on one detail page. So this is the parent overruling all of those different size or color, flavor, scent variants, etc. And all of those variants, as a reminder, are the child ASINs. PED, so these are prime exclusive discounts. This is a deal type only available to FBA sellers and only purchasable via Prime subscribers. The deals are only visible to those Prime subscribers as well, so it can be a percentage off or it could be a limited time deal. It's kind of up to you, but these are a way that you can encourage those Prime subscribers to purchase your products. PDA, product display ads, also sponsored display, SD. So this is a type of display advertising, much like we were talking about earlier with the Amazon's DSP. This is DSP Junior. You'll be able to have your ads appear on category pages, product pages. You'll be able to do a little bit of remarketing, but you're kind of restricted as to how many ads that you can stack up against each other. PDP, product display page, listing page. PL, that's private label. PPC, that's this whole thing with advertising, there's pay-per-click. where we talked about that in depth when we were talking about CPC, but you only incur a cost if someone clicks on your ads. It's another term often used for Amazon advertising. Prime, you'll see this one quite a lot. So this is Amazon Prime. This is a paid subscription fee. And the main benefits for this subscription service are free delivery, fast delivery, often next day, and even on Sundays if you're in the UK. It can also include a range of external services, still Amazon related, but nothing to do with shopping and purchasing. So Prime subscribers will get access to Prime video content, Prime music content, access to the Prime pantry for purchasing perishable goods, some Switch benefits, and even more. Private label, we touched on PL above, we didn't explain it. So these are products that are legally owned by the retailer and supplier, and they are sold under their own brand name, but made by other manufacturers. So those sellers will still be going to, in this example, Chinese sellers, either through Alibaba, to reach out to them to manufacture the products, but to house them under their own brand name. Professional seller. Professional selling account is another Amazon account where a business pays a monthly fee, not per item, but just a flat fee. That access grants them a range of tools, discounts, and reports that are not available to a typical individual seller. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So these are the different quarters of the year, probably quite self-explanatory, but for example, Q4, being one of the busiest quarters of the year for most sellers, is the fourth quarter of the year, October through December of any given year. Quite a notable one because it contains Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the Amazon Prime Full Deal event, and Christmas in general, Thanksgiving, Halloween. So it's a very big, busy shopping quarter for sellers. ROAS. We can go back to our dashboard for this one. Similar to ACoS. With ACoS, the smaller the number, the better. With ROAS, the higher the number, the better. So this is your return on ad spend. So this is the revenue that you'll receive as a multiplier from your advertising investment. So for example, if we have here a ROAS of 3.08, for every dollar we put in, we're getting $3.08 back. Similar to ROI as well, though ROI will be calculated as a percentage. So the ROI here would be, rounding down slightly for the benefit of my lack of quick math, your ROI here would be 300% because you're getting 300% what you put in. So you put in $1 and you got $3 back, 300% ROI. But here we've got a 3 ROAS. ROAS is typically going to be the KPI on the DSP because you can't track ACoS. You can still calculate it if you needed to, but ROAS is the main return on investment indicator on the DSP platforms. For the longest time on PPC, it was just ACoS. But within the last year and a half, they introduced ROAS as a trackable metric too. RRP is the recommended retail price. Sales rank, similar to what we were talking about earlier with the BSR, your best sellers rank. This is your sales rank based on the product in search. So each search will have its own sales rank. So if I was to type in cat treats, there are going to be a number of searches that come back. Anything that's not sponsored is going to have its own sales rank. So who appears in position 1, 2, 3, and 4, etc. And then if you move on to the categories, that's where your bestseller rank comes in, based on the subcategory or category room. SV, we touched on this with the headline search ads. These are sponsor brands. So these are keyword targeted ads that promote your brand. They're cost per click. They can include custom images. Now those custom images can be up to 5 images, so they automatically rotate as a slideshow. You can have up to 3 products on display in these, so it's a good way to showcase your brand or a bestseller and a company that with maybe a new launch or a slow seller to really try and piggyback off of the success of a hero product. I know we've mentioned they're keyword targeted, but you can target those off of your own and your competitors' ASINs. We also mentioned their cost per click. You can now also run your sponsor brand video campaigns on the CPM model, so paying cost per milli. So instead of cost per click, you can pay per 1,000 impressions instead, which makes sense if you're trying to go for brand awareness and consideration rather than trying to go for conversions. Now, these sponsored brand ads, if you click on the individual product, will take you through to the product listing page, the product display page. If you click on any of the other elements, say the logo, the image/video, the headline, that will take you through to your sponsored brand storefront. SC, short for Seller Central. SD, sponsor display, we've covered that one. SEO, so this is separate from PPC. This is search engine optimization. This is how you can increase traffic, visibility to your website, your brand, a product through a search engine on the web. So this is only going to cover organic traffic. It's going to exist completely separate, as mentioned, from those paid ads, CPC, CPM. So no paid placements or ads running through SEO. Session. One session is a group of interactions, page views, loads that an individual user places on a website within a certain time frame. SFP, Seller Fulfilled Prime, also known as Seller Fulfilled Prime. This is where sellers that have sign up for Prime, but they're doing it from their own warehouses rather than shipping that stock to Amazon's fulfillment centers. SKU, stock keeping unit. This is another unique identification code. So this is beyond an ASIN. An ASIN is a specific code that you can't change or dictate for your product, whereas the SKU, you can name this what you want. So let's say you've got multiple variations of a product. You can have that be SKU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you've got an FBA versus an FBM variant. You can have multiple SKUs against one ASIN. So maybe you've got an ASIN for a pair of trainers. If you've got an FBA variation, an FBM variation, because you're shipping stock to different areas, different fulfillment channels, you can make an individual SKU for those. SNS, so this is subscribe and save. This is Amazon's service that allows your customers, your shoppers, to set up a subscription for a product. This typically works best on repeat purchase products. Let's say pet food. They'll be able to subscribe and, as the title says, save a little bit. So usually the minimum is going to be like 5% saving, but it means you've got that kind of regular income now. They're subscribed, you're just going to have to kick that product out at whatever rotation they've opted in for, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, and you can pass on a discount to them for committing and being a loyal customer and purchasing on a regular basis. It also adds some simplicity for the consumer because they don't have to keep coming back and ordering. Small and light. This is an Amazon fulfillment program for, you guessed it, small products, light products. So they take up less space in the fulfillment centers and delivery vans, take up less weight. So they pass on those savings to you in a reduction in shipping costs. Sponsor brands, we've covered those. Sponsor products, that is your core level of advertising. These are your automatic campaigns, your keyword campaigns, your ASIN targeting campaigns. Usually around 70% of your advertising is going to be these sponsored product campaigns. They're on a cost per click basis. You fill those campaigns with keywords. Someone searches for that keyword, triggers your campaign. They can find your product. Hopefully your product's attractive enough. They purchase the product. MSRP is the suggested retail price. Storefront, another term for what we talked about earlier with the Amazon brand store. It's a mini shop within Amazon, curated by yourself for your brand with pages, subpages, subcategories, deals, homepages, your own brand logos, color schemes, content, images, videos, etc. ACoS. Now, this is one step further from ACoS. At the moment, it's not a metric or a column that you can track on Amazon, unfortunately. We have ACoS and ROAS, but we don't have TACoS yet. But what TACoS is still considering your ad spend, but instead of just going against your ad attributed sales, it's going against your total revenue. So you calculate that by taking your ad spend, dividing it by your total revenue, and timesing that by 100. You can very easily find your total revenue through business reports. This gives you a bit more of a holistic view of how your advertising is working. So you're taking every single sale you've had, taking away the ad spend, and seeing what percentage is responsible for that. Third-party seller. A third-party merchant is a business, a seller that sells a product that is not their own brand or product. They sell it on Seller Central, and they're selling that product directly to consumers on Amazon under their own business name. So in the example we used earlier, this could be something like wholesale-wise, like Nike shoes. I could set up my own brand, my own storefront, and still sell someone else's products, usually with a wholesaling agreement. TOS, terms of service. It's important to follow these so you don't get your products, your listings, your ads suspended. Each different category is going to have its own different terms of service. One of the obvious ones is going to be anything alcohol related. So if you are selling actual alcohol, the chances are in most marketplaces you're not going to be able to advertise that due to the risks of those ads being placed in front of the wrong people, most notably children. So make sure you read the terms of service for every category. UGC, this is user-generated content. You would have heard me talk about with sponsor brands, sponsor brand videos, that you can have a custom video, you can have lifestyle images. You need to generate this content yourself or reach out to an agency or content creator that can do that for you. Either way, it's still classed as user-generated content. An unverified review. So unfortunately, you can get reviews on your products from someone who's not actually purchased the item. Anyone can leave a review. So this is something to keep an eye out for. It's worth opening case logs if you get some obviously negative reviews. Potentially you're being sniped by a competitor. So keep on top of those unverified negative reviews. If you've got a verified purchase and it's a bad review, you need to deal with your product rather than going through the case log, but keep an eye on those unverified ones. USP, this is your unique selling point. This is something you need to brag about all over your product page. So brag that in your images, brag that in your title, your bullet points, your product description, your A+ content, and in your brand messaging through your advertising, be that sponsor brands, sponsored display. Variation, another term for your child ASINs. This is where your main product is broken down by size, color, flavor, pack sizes, etc., etc. VAT, so this is the additional value-added tax for products sold in the UK and mainland EU. Verified review, spin over this one with the unverified review. This review has been obtained from a genuine sale, genuine purchaser of your product. And each review will actually have a little tag and a label saying whether it's verified or not. Vendors, so we talked about Vendor Central, we talked about Seller Central. Vendors sell on Vendor Central, very similar in appearance to Seller Central. A few extra features. This is where those sellers are selling products to Amazon's retail side, and then it's up to Amazon to sell that to the final customer. So they take the role of the wholesaler. You take the role of the wholesalers, basically. You're selling your goods to Amazon to then sell. That will give you benefits in ranking and exposure because Amazon have purchased that product, that stock. They want to make sure it's got as much visibility as possible. Vine, this is a review program. So this is Amazon's own program where vendors, sellers can enroll to the Vine program to obtain verified and legitimate reviews. So there'll be a network of Vine reviewers that you can send your products to. They'll get a free product. They'll review your product, give you hopefully a decent review that allows you to build up that bank of reviews very early, especially if you're launching a product. Voucher coupon, covered this earlier when it was swapped as coupon voucher. Warehouse deals. So these products are sold by the Amazon warehouse. It's a subsection within Amazon that is selling used, refurbished products. And those used products could just be damaged packaging or returned. They don't have to be properly used. But there is an element of quality there still. So each product will have been inspected against that 20-point quality inspection process. So you as the shopper can buy with confidence knowing that, it's been repaired, refurbished, or if it is damaged, at least it's just the box that's damaged and the product has been tested. Even so, they're Prime eligible and they still carry that 30-day return policy and all the benefits of customer service. Well, that'll be week over week, year over year, year to date. And that brings us to the end of our analysis of sponsored terms, acronyms, definitions, abbreviations. So, as usual, please like this video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode in the future. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to talking through further points of the introduction to Amazon ads on our next video.